third example is giving you information that is not the equation, and we want to come up with the equation. So we know a couple of pieces here. We know we've got a transverse axis of length 4, and the foci are at -3, 0, and 3, 0. So what is that saying? Well, the first thing is let's plot down our foci that we know. We know at 3, 0 we're going to have a foci, and we know at -3, 0 we're going to have a foci. The next piece we know is that the hyperbola is going to be centered at the origin. So I know right there is going to be my center. And then I'm given a transverse axis of length 4. The transverse axis of length 4 tells me from vertex to vertex of the hyperbola is going to be 4 units apart, which means that on one side of the center I'm going to have 2 units and the other side is going to be 2 units. So from the center I'm going to go 2 units to the right and 2 units to the left. This whole piece from vertex to vertex is the transverse axis. So if I know the length is 4, that means the center has to be right in the center, and there's 2 units on each side of it. So when I look at that, what I've got graphed so far, that's going to tell me that my hyperbola has to open left and right. The reason I know that is that the transverse axis is going in the x-axis direction. The second thing is that the foci have to be inside the hyperbolas. So my hyperbolas are going to come up and around in that format. So my format for my equation is going to be x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. And I know it's that way because this is going to open in the x direction. Now I need to be able to solve for the a and the b. The a we're going to be able to figure out because we know the distance from the center to the vertex, which is going to be 2. So in this case, a is going to be 2. So a squared will be 4. Now, how do I get b squared? Well, the only other piece I have is this foci. And I know the foci distance from the center out is 3 units. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared. I know my c value is going to be 3. My a value is 2. And my b is what I'm solving for. So 9 is equal to 4 plus b squared. So b is going to be plus or minus square root of 5. And if I do that, I know I'm going to be right about there and right about there on my y-axis. So we'll draw our box in going through the vertices and our co-vertices. We know my asymptotes go throughout the diagonals of the box, and the vertices are the endpoints for my hyperbolas. So what's the equation going to be? Well, the equation, if I know a squared is 4, and then b squared is going to be 5. So x squared over 4 minus y squared over 5 is equal to 1. To get that into the calculator then, I would solve for y. So here I would subtract my x squared minus 4 to the other side, divide through by this -1, multiply by 5, and then take the square root. So if I were to put this into my calculator, you would get y equals plus or minus the square root of -5 x squared over 4 plus 5. So that's how I'd enter that into my calculator.